large group of black teenagers rampaged through the Midway late Wednesday.
And then once they got me on the ground, I thought they were going to kill me.
3 African-American teenagers attacked a 15-year-old.
The group was made up of 2 gangs who worked together to make money from their victims. Random attacks on complete strangers.
Hey, what's up? I'm James.
And I'm Bree.
And this is
Livin Rhythm.
Are blacks inherently more violent than other groups?
Well, that's the topic of today's episode on Livin Rhythm.
With such a complex issue, we want to at least open the discussion and get your opinion.
But before we get into that, let's begin with our first segment, Walking Rhythm.
Here's our brief interview with local rap artist Newz, where we discussed his approach to making music and what it's all about.
Don't stop chillin' in a rover. Put a couple million chillin' in a sofa. I can see it, I can feel it, I can sense it, I can smell it, man. That's why I can't get no closer. Newz.
Hi Lamar, thanks for being here with us.
What's going on?
What inspires you most when making your music?
I started at a young age and started doing it for so long to where it's just something I like to do. So I inspire myself a little bit. What I want people to take from my music is to get a little bit better understanding about me, because I do put myself in a lot of my music. And is to just go out and just be productive.
Do you ever see or experience the stereotype that black men are inherently more violent than other groups? Do you experience that stereotype in any way?
Yeah, here and there, you do. You know, when like if you in certain areas, certain people treat you differently, like you're gonna harm them.
Right.
When you know, just because of, oh, he's tall and black, so they kind of like, but you know, it's just like, I don't pay too much attention.
We took a quote from someone who commented on a video on YouTube, and their comment, you know, as it pertains to blacks, was whites do fear blacks simply because most are stupid enough to squeeze a trigger and end a life just for their Nikes or anything else a person worked for. So, for instance, like in your song "Hatin'," you start the chorus, "Why they hating on a nigga? I got my finger on the trigger," and you use, you know, the symbol with your hand and the imagery of you pulling on the trigger.
Tell me why they hating on a nigga. Why they doing that? I got my finger on the trigger. I'm motivated by the money. That money. And we get that shit snow city Sunday. Okay.
So, tell me why they hating on the nigga. Now, haters could be people that want what you have and don't have it, you know, and they want to get it. So that could be, and this doesn't have nothing to do with skin color, you know, white dude, Asian dude, Mexican dude, black dude, any guy could maybe want what you have,
right,
that they don't have. I said it aggressively, but you know, that's mainly what it means. It's a self-defense thing. So it's not like, you know, why they hating on me, I just want to go and shoot everybody or something like that. But it's like, why they hating on me? So when they hating on me and people, you know, want to try to come at me in a negative way,
right,
then I'm just protecting myself. Kind of like, you know, it's just like you know, white people got probably more guns than black people. Those type of people that judge a book by its cover, I don't know, maybe they have self issues or something. Maybe something happened in their past life, or just like you said though, I guess this is what this whole interview is about, but it's the media portraying that people that do certain things or dress a certain way or look a certain way do these things. So therefore, when they see people that look or, you know, act or dress like that, then they just automatically assume.
When someone hears your music, do you at all question, as you make your music, whether someone's gonna say, wow, okay, this is just another nigga making some music, talking about bitches and hoes or whatever? Does that ever cross your mind?
And I said, no, that doesn't cross my mind at all, because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, regardless of what you do, they're gonna still perceive you for what you are. They still gonna, you know, if they wanna perceive you as just the average black dude, then they're gonna do that. At the end of the day, if you're talking violence, like you said, there's black people that shoot, you know, people, and then there's white people that shoot and do crazy things. You know, we all do need to work to get rid of all the stereotypes.
You're not worried that your music is contributing to the stereotype that black people are violent because you figure they're gonna think that anyway.
A lot of the times when I do make references about violence, it's like I said, it's a self-defense thing. I may say it in an aggressive manner, so it may, come off as like, oh, he just want to kill people. But then at the same time, I don't just make music like that. Like, I made a whole CD specifically for women. You're appreciated on Valentine's Day. I'm not just, like I said, diversity. Sometimes I just may be, and then too, when I make music and I feel a certain way, that's how I express it. See, I don't go out and shoot people. I go to the pen. With a lot of other artists or whatever that the case may be, sometimes they just are expressing what they went through and things that they had to go through. Because when you're in a low poverty area, it's a lot more violence. Sometimes some people are in situations and areas where you have to fight, you have to shoot, you have to do whatever you gotta do to survive type of mentality. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for all your insights. All right. We'll catch up with it.
Yes, sir.
I got my finger on the trigger, motivated by the money, and we get it snow sweet as sun and nigga.
Time to get the conversation started with our next segment, Livin Rhythm. We want to explore the stereotype that blacks are inherently more violent than other groups.
So let's break it down. We gotta look at the context in which this perception was developed and how such an idea has remained prevalent in our society.
Check this out. I recently came across a YouTube video where there was a violent scenario involving black people, where one of the viewers commented, "White people, arm yourselves and make sure you know how to use your weapon of choice. When the black animals chimp out on you and become violent, and they will, strike with whatever you have as a weapon. Strike first and hit to kill, because the nigger will have no mercy on you. Wake up, white people."
Now, we know this is an extreme view that is not representative of the masses, but it does make you question, where do these types of beliefs come from? And to what extent do these perceptions inform people in subtle and not so subtle ways?
Historically speaking, there have been various instances and levels of ethnocentric, xenophobic reactions when tribes, cultures, or societies have come in contact with different groups.
And this was the case when Europeans came across indigenous cultures living on land that they wanted to colonize. And in particular, such racist beliefs towards blacks were developed mainly as a way to justify slavery.
The Europeans chose to view Africans as intrinsically subhuman, flawed, deviant, so their conscience could excuse the ongoing tremendous amounts of abuse inflicted on the enslaved Africans. Such irrational, hate-based fears were allowing the American colonists to perpetuate beliefs of blacks for future generations, and also to maintain overt racist oppression.
Even during the Civil Rights Movement, there was this perception that African Americans who fought for justice were seen as starting trouble or committing violent acts when defending themselves against the white aggression.
In current times, the belief that blacks are inherently more violent than other groups is commonly portrayed in the media and also argued by people who cite crime statistics.
These perceptions of black violence have been passed down from generation to generation in many ways to permanently ingrain the idea that blacks are more inherently violent than others. For example, the Sandy Hook shooting by Adam Lanza was seen as a tragic case by a mentally unstable gunman, whereas if a black man shows up in the media for committing a violent crime, he's seen as, that's just how black people are.
But why is there so much crime in impoverished neighborhoods? Well, one theory, strain theory, suggests that some individuals in economically deprived communities adapt in dysfunctional ways when dealing with the lack of resources, employment, and low-quality education by turning to crime.
So what's this all about? Are black people just violent? Is the media helping to perpetuate these racially biased perceptions?
Or is it because there's a long history of inequality with an ongoing struggle for justice that we're still working towards? And to what extent has centuries of oppression affected African American culture to the point that we see the perseverance and problems today?
What about women's rights, sexual orientation, religious freedoms? As a society, are we ready to uncover the sources of our social issues and challenge the status quo to include everyone?
We'd like to hear your opinion. Tell us what you think by commenting on the video. Also, check out the About section of the video for links for more information related to this topic.
Thanks for watching, and keep on living your rhythm.